Hi everyone, and welcome back to our first watercolor tutorial on this channel. Now for this very first tutorial, we are going to be painting my absolute favorite flower, which are sunflowers. They're happy and they're bright, and spring is on its way, and I'm really hoping to really just embrace these beautiful colors that are starting to surround us. So go ahead and grab your watercolor supplies. As you can see, first what I have done here is I have gotten my watercolor paper and I have taped it off. And then I'm using a flat surface that I have on the back of this brush. Another flat surface you can use for this would be like the back of a spoon to kind of really smooth it out. Now I'm taking my pencil and I'm drawing 3 circles that do not have to be perfect in any way. And with those 3 circles, those are going to be the centers to our sunflowers. Now I'm going ahead and I'm awakening my red color with my water, and I'm adding in a little bit of brown just to get those really brownish hue centers of a sunflower. And I'm going ahead and I'm very lightly painting this in. Just fanning it off, getting it nice and dry. Remember, when you're doing this, you're using more water than you are using paint, just to get that really light first layer. And then with this next one, we're getting the colors for the leaves, or not the petals, the petals. And to do that, I'm kind of mixing like a sunburnt with a little bit of orange to get this nice leaf color. If this video is going too fast for you, know that you can pause it at any time and catch up. Now with flower petals, remember that petals are sisters, not twins, so they don't have to be perfect in any way, and that's something absolutely beautiful about nature. It's quite a reflection of the lives that we live, where as beautiful as things are, there is happiness and sadness, there's joy and anger, and the same in nature. Not one scenario is the same, but when all these petals come together, they create absolutely beautiful, stunning flowers. Now once I'm on a happy place with our first flower, I'm going to go ahead and add on the petals onto the little sunflowers in the back. I'm rotating my paper just to really make sure my petals are heading in the right direction. Now this one's a little tricky. First I'm starting with the petals that are furthest away from what I am painting, and then I'm going over and adding the petals that kind of overlap into our little brown circle, giving that a moment to dry. Then I'm adding more water to wake back up my orange, and I'm kind of adding a bit more orange to my sunburnt yellow, and I'm just going over and adding a bit more shade and definition to the flower petals. Now once that I have done that, I'm getting just a little bit of that yellow again, and I'm starting to apply the little bases of where we're going to be placing some flowers in the future. So just little speckles over here and there. Yours does not have to look like mine. Mine is like a great example, but feel free to make it your own. Put these leaves where you'd like to put the leaves, and put the flowers where you'd like to put the flowers. Definitely pull from this and just feel very inspired. To get this green, we went ahead and just added regular green with lots of water to really lighten it up with just a teeny bit of yellow, just to kind of get that very springy color green. I went ahead and added a little bit more paint to our water to kind of get this slightly darker version of green. And then I was realizing that I wanted it to look a bit more earthy, so then I added a tiny bit of brown to my green. And that just created like a very nice, muted, very realistic green that you see very much out in nature. I went ahead and added just a bit of that to our leaves to add a bit more definition and shade. Then I went ahead and added on a couple more leaves where I felt that I needed to be a bit more balanced. A beautiful thing about art is the rule of thirds. Look at your art and see, is there a leaf that needs to go somewhere that will kind of bring it all together? Is there too much activity on one side that there needs to be more activity on the other side? For example, it looked a little misbalanced at the top, so I added some greenery up there. Then I went ahead and added these very, very tiny, teeny tiny little lines of green, kind of like these happy little stems. As you can see, I was even pulling from an example of some sunflowers. Around these sunflowers, we're going to add these cute little happy yellow flowers. And so to add these, we're just getting that nice, deep, earthy green again. And we are placing nice little stems, just very, very light, very gentle little stems around the image. And it just brings our sunflowers a little bit more to life. Now the reason why we're letting it dry in between adding layers is because watercolor likes to bleed onto each other, where the orange might get into the green and the green into the orange. So make sure that your art is a little bit dry before you add on layer by layer. Now I'm getting this nice sunburnt orange and yellow, and I'm starting to add these little flower petals. Now they're a bit messy and they're not really controlled, but that's the beauty of watercolor, is that it kind of does its own thing. We're just speckling these little happy colors all around these beautiful sunflowers to get nice definition. I absolutely loved this step. I thought it just really brought the whole image together. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking that same sunburnt orange and I'm just bringing the petals a little bit closer. Not much, but just a teeny bit closer back to the centers of the sunflowers. Now I'm using a little bit more of an orange and I'm creating like the tiny little centers to these little flowers. As you can see, it's just tiny little dots just right in the center. Now what we're doing is we're going back to that brown and we're getting it just slightly darker, and we're going through and adding another layer of this beautiful, rich, spring-colored brown to the center of these sunflowers. Now, watercolor is absolutely wonderful and amazing, and it is a wonderful gift. I'm actually making this piece for a good friend of mine. And being able to share your talents with others is such a wonderful blessing. So when you end up making this, or if you end up copying along or following along or making your own version of this wonderful watercolor piece, please go ahead and send it to me via social media. I'd love to see what you make with this. And if you have a cute story for who you might be gifting this to, I'd love to hear as well. And as you can see, we are about done. Now I'm just taking this green and I'm adding on just a couple more very lightly shadowed leaves just to add a little bit more balance to our image. Just really bringing it to life. Remember, with watercolor, the base is water. The more you become familiar with how water works with watercolor, the less control you feel you need to have and the more trust you have. It's a very beautiful relationship. Now I went ahead and I just added the last little touches, which was just tiny bit more brown in the centers, because you know where sunflowers get a little bit darker. I added just a little bit more shadow to the leaves, and then I decided to go back and add a little bit of this extra brown just to the background of our beautiful sunflower. This is one of my favorite steps, just adding that little bit of background to it. And now go ahead and remove your tape and you are done. Make sure you sign it and enjoy this beautiful bit of artwork that you have completed. We're going to go ahead and be posting another wonderful video like this next week. If you liked this sort of tutorial, please feel free to let me know. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.